We're Charlie and Leanne, a couple from California who left our cushy suburban life to spend the next several years cruising around the Pacific Ocean on our boat, Juliet. And our little dog, too. Hey, want to keep our videos coming? Help support our channel by buying us a drink. Visit our Patreon page to see how. In our last episode, we left Paradise Village in Nueva Vallarta and headed out for an overnight passage. Destination, Barra de Navidad, a place near the top of my must-see ports on the Mexican mainland. After a peaceful sunset at sea and a calm night illuminated by the full moon, the next morning we were treated to one of the strangest sunrises I've ever seen.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. Check out these colors and the eerie look of the ocean right now. Wow.
We still had several hours of sailing left, but fortunately the wind was coming from behind us. And we love a downwind sail, especially now that we have this great preventer system. I'll let Charlie explain.
When we sail downwind, beyond about 135 degrees to dead downwind, we always put a preventer out to keep the boom from swinging across and possibly hitting somebody or doing some damage to the rigging if we get a sudden wind change or the boat lurches in a swell or something. And right now we are sailing downwind. We're sailing at about 140 degrees, so we deployed our preventer. We have a two-part preventer. We have these Dyneema lines on each side that go up to the front of the boom towards the mast. And then that connects to a rope that's down on the deck. And what I do is I lead it to this midship chock, and I just tie this rope to the Dyneema line, bring it back here, and tighten it on the secondary winch. And that makes the boom nice and tight. This boom's not going anywhere if we were to do an accidental jibe. Right now we're sailing using our autopilot on the wind setting, so the autopilot is holding it to a certain heading of the wind, 140 degrees. And it actually does a better job than I do. So this is our typical mode when sailing downwind. With the autopilot on, with the preventer rigged, and just snugged up to keep the boom nice and solid so it doesn't shift if we were to lurch or make any changes. The thing I like about this two-part system is that the Dyneema line is really strong, and this polyester line we have, the second line, has a little bit of stretch. It's plenty strong enough, but it also stretches a little bit. The third thing is, by tying a bowline, there are no metal shackles or anything to hurt somebody when the wind picks up and it starts flogging around, or you're trying to deploy it or take it down and things are slapping all over the place. So this is real easy to set up, provides a good solid hold for the boom, and it's just simple. We love it.
As we approached the entrance, I started to get pretty excited about finally visiting one of my bucket list spots.
I'm looking forward to the French Baker. I've been hearing about this French Baker in Barra de Navidad for years. Apparently there's a guy who has a French bakery and he goes around in a panga to all the boats in the lagoon and sells croissants and fresh bread and hot pastries. I'm really looking forward to seeing this and tasting it and filming it. I think it's going to be very cool.
Barra de Navidad has a pretty narrow entrance into the harbor, which then opens up into a huge lagoon that offers secure holding and a very quiet, calm, and flat anchorage for dozens of boats. There weren't a lot of boats when we arrived, partly due to COVID, so there are just fewer cruisers out. But mostly, we were already pretty late in the cruising season, and most boats have either left the region or headed to protected marinas for hurricane season. Entering the harbor was a bit harrowing, as the narrow passage is constantly crisscrossed by pangas and the water taxis that people use to get around here. It's also super shallow, so Charlie had to really pay attention to the depth sounder while making sure we stayed between the buoys. Once we dropped the hook, we relaxed and took a look around our peaceful new home. After the rolly anchorages we'd been experiencing on the mainland, the absolute flat calm of this lagoon was a real treat. Next on the agenda, head to town. One of the cool things about Barra is the water taxi. You don't need to drop your dinghy, as these guys are zooming back and forth throughout the harbor and lagoon all day and night. All you have to do is call for a taxi on the radio, and one will be there in just a few minutes to take you into town. Of course, Bubba loved the ride. From the lagoon, it's just a short ride into the main part of town. Barra itself is a farming and fishing community that, in recent years, has been promoted by the government as a tourist destination. It has a lovely oceanfront setting, a bustling downtown with souvenir shops, plenty of great restaurants and boutique hotels, and a small malecon out on the point. It's not particularly known for its beaches, although it has some nice strips of sand. Really, what I loved the most about it was its authenticity as a truly Mexican beach town, in contrast to Paradise Village, which sometimes felt like Newport Beach, California. The water taxi drops you right off in the center of the action, only steps away from the malecon and the bustling downtown. Once we got to town, the first order of business was to walk the wind-blown malecon, where we saw the typical nautical sculptures. It's always nice to be able to figure out where you are in the world. We also took a little tour of the town itself. Hats are really popular here. This is such a quintessentially Mexican sight. The gas trucks you see in every town, with their obnoxious but admittedly attention-getting loudspeakers. After walking long enough to get our land legs, we stopped at a restaurant, walked out onto the back patio, and were stunned to see a friend we'd made on the Baja Haha nearly 2 years ago, Jacques from the sailboat Jaco Bateau. What an awesome surprise!
Jaco, you're on camera. So it's stabilized.
Yeah,
so I can do like a pan
you can
shot.
move around. It's on a gimbal.
There we go. So how's your day going?
It's great. I'm a little tired.
Obviously.
Because, we just got in, we had an overnight sale, but hey.
Hey.
I'm having beer.
You're 7 beer.
On the water in Barra de Navidad. What could go wrong?
What do you, oh, and you got a beer too. Look at you.
Turned out the food was pretty great too. This was a quinoa stuffed portobello mushroom over garlic mashed potatoes and a red wine reduction sauce. Yum! We decided we loved the whole water taxi thing. After a wonderful dinner with plenty of beers, it's nice to let someone else do the driving. And then we sat back and enjoyed the sunset and watched other people taxi back to their own boats for the night.
Hola! Good morning! This is amazing.
Any more chocolate croissant?
Chocolate croissant, yeah. Plain croissant, here we have almond croissant, almond chocolate, plié with pastry cream and chocolate, raisin roll and cinnamon, strawberry, chocolate with mango, chocolate with almond, mixed fruit, raspberry, key lime. Chocolate with almond.
Chocolate mango. And then I'll take the key lime tart, because everybody said I have to try that.
You should. No, no problem. I have changed. No worries about that. Thank you. So I'm back to you 220.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Finally got to experience the French baker. I've been hearing about this guy for so many years, and I'm so excited. And I've been told about these key lime tartlets. So, about to dig in and see if everything I've heard is true. It's true.
So far, Barra has been great for dining. That night we found a lovely restaurant right on the water with a great view and live music. Even Bubba liked it. Of course, the next night we had to try the pizza in town.
How's the pizza, Charlie?
Again, we had musical accompaniment, this time by a few street performers. The next day, we raised anchor and moved the short distance from the lagoon to the marina. Like in Paradise Village, the marina here is part of a large hotel complex. The Grand Isla Navidad Resort is a sprawling, upscale waterfront property that has become one of the main tourist draws to Barra de Navidad. It has an elegant Mediterranean air to it, and it kind of reminded me of the Bellagio in Las Vegas. It sports 3 restaurants, a swim-up bar, and 3 gorgeous pools with water slides connecting them. For lunch that day, we enjoyed yet another reunion with our friends Kurt and Mary, whom we've known for years through our yacht club back home. Kurt and Mary were part of the crew when Charlie did Transpac 10 years ago. It was great to catch up. So, anywho, let's take a closer look at this hotel. There are definitely some advantages to being in a marina that's connected to a resort. We've had the use of all of their facilities, the restaurants, the pools, the business center where I did some recording for a previous video. I gotta take you up there so you can see the rest of it. We've been coming up here most days, hang out at the pool, do a little swimming, break the heat of the afternoon. Definitely enjoyed making use of that swim-up bar. These pools have multiple levels and there's slides that go down between them. Yes, I actually did get on one of these slides. You can see the slide over there that takes you down to the next level. They do have a beach here. Just a cute little beach right here and some lounges under tents, but the beach is not the attraction here, really, it's the pools. Yeah, I could get used to this. The thing is, we made a decision when we started cruising that we were going to mostly spend our time at anchor, not in marinas. We didn't want to be those, marina queens that spend all their time in marinas and you might as well just be living at home. But we definitely enjoy the occasions when we get into a marina. We've actually spent more time in marinas than we had planned on, mainly because of COVID. But now that, things are starting to settle down with the pandemic, people are getting vaccinated, places are opening up, we're going to be spending more time out at anchor. But if we had to pick a marina to spend a lot of time in, this would definitely be high on the list. Wait till you see this lobby. I feel like I'm in the Bellagio. The whole hotel is like this. I managed to sneak a glance inside a few of the rooms while they were being cleaned, and they are very luxurious. Well, it's time to go say goodbye to Kurt and Mary. We're cutting the dock lines again, and we're heading to Tenochtitlan.
I'd like to give you our impressions of Barra de Navidad. This is one of those places we've heard about for many, many years. We have friends that have lived there for over a year on their boat in the marina. And it's basically a destination location for cruisers. A lot of people use that as a jumping off point for going through the Panama Canal, heading south, or even going across the Pacific. When we got there, we stayed at the anchorage, which is really shallow, way more shallow than I was expecting. It was about 7 feet deep, and we draw 7 feet on this boat, so there wasn't a whole lot of room. But the nice thing about being shallow is you don't have to let out too much scope in your anchor, too much chain for a nice hold. It was a very muddy bottom, so that the anchor dug right in. It was very windy though. It got extremely windy in the afternoons. It was blowing, 25 knots, pretty solid the first night we got there. And we were told it was not that unusual. Second night, same thing happened. So after that, we went into the marina. It's a really nice resort marina. Unfortunately, the maintenance is not all that great. The actual docks look like they haven't been maintained much, but the resort was nice. It had great pools. So we had a good time visiting the village a few times. Want to add anything?
Yeah, so I loved Barra. Our friends Kurt and Mary were there, so that was fun to get to see them. We've been talking about cruising with them for so many years, and we finally connected up with them. I loved the hotel, the resort, the pools. We had a really nice lunch at the restaurant there. I will echo Charlie that about the maintenance. The bathrooms are not that nice. So to kind of
in the marina.
The marina.
Hotel bathrooms are great.
Very nice.
It's just the marina just isn't very well maintained.
Yeah.
They seem to have a reduced staff. There were no people working on the marina. They didn't have dock carts at the docks.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was just being run by the lady in the office, but not your typical marina where you have dock workers, just keeping the marina up to shape.
And grabbing dock lines for boats that are coming in and whatnot. Overall, and the French Baker. The French Baker was very cool. I'm really glad we got to see it, and I'm sure we will go there again.
And for any of my ex-Amgen friends, the French Baker reminded me of Dom from Regulatory Affairs. Same accent, same body style, same everything. So I don't know if Dom is still there or if he maybe retired and is now down in Barra Navidad
doing French baking.
Making fresh pastries.
Join us for our next episode, when we visit one of the most popular anchorages for cruisers on the Mexican coastline, Tenacatita. And it turns out to be not quite what we were expecting. We also take a very exciting dinghy journey up a river into the mangroves. If you enjoyed our video, please be sure to click like and to subscribe.